Hello, beautiful people. So, I wanted to speak a little bit today about living from your soul, and it just came to me when I was in the shower that I was reflecting on actually how far I'd come on my journey in life and how different experiences had strengthened me and helped me to grow and helped me to really come back to that sense of myself, of really being grounded. And I feel that we are coming more and more back into that living from the soul. And it's not necessarily actually what we thought it was. So, particularly a lot of the New Age belief systems and kind of almost hedonistic spiritual belief systems are starting to fall away, I'm noticing now. And they might have been talking about living from the soul, but there seemed to be a little bit of a disconnected, almost seeking this blissful, higher dimensional existence, almost an escapism and a fantasy away from actually deeply grounded human here and now spirituality. And I think I've shared a little bit about my journey, but I decided in my early 20s when I went to uni and studied psychology that I wanted to go on a spiritual journey, and I wanted to learn about who it was that I am as a soul, and the different belief systems and different modalities, the different tools that would help me to really get clear on that. And that took me down an incredibly wild, out of this world journey over the last, 10 years or so. And I went into Buddhism, into Buddhist meditation. I learned about ecstatic dance and all kinds of different New Age belief systems, and I became interested in different religions and what their take was and what parts of those resonated with me and what didn't. And I obviously took a huge journey in my life and everything that I was doing in my life and how that was strengthening me and helping to smash through kind of belief systems and barriers about myself of not being worthy or not being able to take control of my life and things. So, I feel like I've come to a place now. It was my 32nd birthday in January, and when I reached my 30s, I felt a real transition from this place of searching, of looking outside of myself, of what are these belief systems I need to know because I need them to teach me because I don't know myself, to a real grounded sense of I've got this. I've had the life experiences and the shifts and accumulated a huge amount of tools and belief systems that I'm now able to discern what really helps me to be in that state of clarity that I really want to be in, and what is this kind of hedonistic escapism that ironically actually distances people from you. So funnily, what I found within the kind of New Age hippie kind of belief systems and things, that sometimes it can actually get you in this place of thinking that you're special, and actually what you're doing is distancing yourself from people. So for me, my journey as a nurse and working in a hospice and in hospitals was what really taught me that seeing the soul in people, no matter what their background is, no matter where they've come from, and no matter what they look like, it's really kind of seeing that spark within people despite the circumstances. And it's very humbling to really be taught by life through those really hard experiences, and it makes you really come back to what's important. So for me, living from the soul nowadays is not about having some kind of spiritual identity. And funnily, what I found was that once I let go of this awakening identity, and I recently closed down, I used to run a awakening group, and I just felt like there was so much false light awakening information out there that it was getting diluted from actually the real sense of clarity of how I see awakening. And there's a point where you don't need any labels anymore. You don't need a I'm awakened, you're not. It's like that's actually quite a dismissive and judgmental state of being. That there's a lot of stuff on the internet of people, labeling their sheeple, they're awakened, they're sheeple, we're the light workers, they're the unawakened, and it's just creating more division, which it's ironic, really, sort of the mental tricks we can get ourselves into to feel special and to feel like we're worthy and we're doing something important. But what is more important than really being yourself, really just authentically living your life and being kind? So for me, living an awakened life is really grounded in moral values. So a lot of the, belief systems like Buddhism and the Christian... Sorry, I'm getting a call. Yeah, a lot of the belief systems are, I'm just going to turn my phone off, have really strong moral values because they are important. If you, have a philosophy to live by of, how can I be more unconditionally loving, and how can I foster more of a sense of community, and how can I, like the Buddhist belief system has the 6 precepts, which are basically right mind, right livelihood, right service to the world. And they're just a framework that you can work with that actually helps you to stay in that sense of balance and to move forwards with a sense of structure of, yes, this is the life I want to create and this is how I'm going to create it. And when you're in a situation, how can I embody that within that situation? And particularly what I found in the past was that I misinterpreted that as to be unconditionally loving was to be so open and welcoming that I wasn't really setting boundaries. And now I'm starting to really understand through learning about counselling and things that you can really embody those values but also be really grounded in this is what I want to share with the world, and what in my life is helping me to foster that, and how can I support people to reach that place that I'm in as well, that is really healthy and vibrant and accepting and kind, and also what really isn't fostering that. So I'm going to read a poem to you and then see if anything else comes to me. But part of living a soul-based journey as well is that one of my favourite books, The Celestine Prophecy, I really love the insights in that, which are to do with how, human beings unconditionally, unconsciously, energetically kind of take from each other because they don't feel connected to some sort of source or clarity within them. So they create these kind of control dramas of pushing away and pulling and rejecting and neglecting, and all of these dramas that really, really cause us a lot of suffering. So it's about kind of how do I realign with myself, with some kind of source, whether that's God or just feeling connected with nature or whatever makes you feel really grounded. And then the invisible thread of our journey, of our destiny that moves us forwards, and how we can start to really see that. And I'm finding at the moment a particular shift with the law of attraction, belief systems of the past of if I put it out there, the universe brings it to me. And I feel like we're even going beyond that now to really understanding the manifestation and creating the life that you want that is really soul aligned is about choices. So what I find is that I can really want something and almost feel like, oh, my life isn't quite there at the moment, and feel a sense of confusion. But it's only when I really make that choice that the outside reality reconfigures itself to that choice that I've made. Sorry, I'm really popular today. So I'm going to read a poem to you. I did have it up on here, but it's kind of disappeared off. So, it says, build a temple of peace within you, so that you can kneel at the altar, reawakening your sacredness, your inherent divinity, illuminating from within, while remaining grounded in clarity and purity, untouched by outside circumstances, knowing that the treasure of your stillness is the remedy to a mind that becomes lost in busyness. A world that has become distracted to instant gratification in a society of disconnected chaos. You are the solution, not by fighting against it, but by reflecting and connecting on the power of your presence, having the courage to slow down and really reconnect with your unchangeable sense of self, the gentle power of your soul that is eternal, untouched by the shifting sands of this world. This is the gift in the pre-dawn hours when the world is still, when life's journey feels out of control. The gift is within you in the eye of the storm. In the shifting trajectories, the life paths that unexpectedly become dead ends, the twists and turns, we focus on the journey, the roller coaster of being tested, until we surrender our expectations to the real peace we have been seeking, the centre of the labyrinth, the spiral, the pathway into oneness, where we see all clearly from a higher elevation, that it was just another detour on the path to recognition of the truth, that we are always interconnected to the truth that we are seeking. So, as I was reading that, I was thinking of things to discuss afterwards, and now they've kind of gone again. But yeah, what I find is that a lot of people in this world are very disconnected from their souls, or even completely disconnected. And when you are disconnected, you seek outside of yourself and numb yourself from the suffering you feel, which the Buddha talked about a lot, of feeding the hungry ghosts of addiction and running away from your own inner suffering. But sometimes the wound is where the light gets in, where you really feel like there is no more falling apart. That's when you actually heal. And we're so afraid of that we run from what we actually really need. And what I also find is that sometimes we know the answers as well. So we know that something feels unaligned in our lives, or it's not the right time, or something like that, but actually we fight against it and cause ourselves a lot of suffering in the process rather than surrendering. And what I also find is that quite often we take the confusion, which actually is a no, as a or a not yet, and then we fight against it rather than actually, really seeing the power of where we are now. And I particularly found that at times where I was really in the past wanting to be in a relationship, but my soul was saying to me, like, not yet. This journey of being with yourself and really grounding into that is what you need to learn at the moment, and that is going to serve you moving forwards. And looking back, I'm so eternally grateful that I gave myself that space to really be with myself and to really hone in on that kind of inner love and self-acceptance, so that I would really be able to draw on that when I need it. So I could talk about this over and over again. Really, I've got so much to really say on the subject, but kind of the desire at the moment of just coming into quiet and stillness, I think maybe is actually what I'm trying to say, is that when you really listen to yourself, to your soul, and you let go of outside distractions, the answers come to you, but your soul doesn't shout and it doesn't try and draw your attention. It needs you to listen and it needs you to slow down. And our society has become very soul disconnected because it wants you to be faster and faster and distracted and run yourself into the ground so that you're not listening to your soul. So this lockdown at the moment is really interesting because actually it's allowing people to slow down and really see the outside distractions and see where they take their identity from and what they think makes them good enough. And as that's stripped bare, that's stripped away, that obviously causes people a lot of suffering, but it also is where people realise what they really want, what's really important. So it is a very potent time of being able to reconnect with yourself. And how you do that, there are many, mindfulness tools out there, whether you go with meditation, with nature, with writing, with dancing. There's, many different ways of reconnecting with yourself. I will talk more about mindfulness and things, I think, in future videos. But for now, I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope that inspires you in some way and helps you to really gain clarity. And something that I've been noticing just before I go is that sometimes when you're in this state of wanting, of searching, of striving, of wanting things to go a certain way, of having expectations, you actually get into this hungry ghost state where nothing is enough. So someone might be offering you the commitment that you desire, or you might, be wanting to manifest the money that you desire. But if you're in this state of lack and wanting, then no matter how much you get, if you're in the wrong mindset and the wrong perspective, it will never be enough. So you might be thinking about winning the lottery, but even that you think, oh, well, if I have this big house, then I'll have to pay more council tax, and there's more chance that I could lose it all because I've got to pay more every month, and I'll have to get a cleaner, and all these different things. It's so funny what we do to ourselves. Whereas if you love as souls do, if you take with gratitude what's given to you, then everything is enough. And every little thing that you see around you, you suddenly see actually how abundant that you are and how lucky that you are. So, yeah, if you're in this state of fear or wanting, or your mind's running away from you, just really slow down and think to yourself, am I making this decision, or am I testing this person or something? Am I doing this out of a sense of fear, or a real sense of I want to build something, I want to create something, I want to enjoy in gratitude? It's a very different shift in perspective. So lots of love, beautiful people.